Last month, we built a blueprint. We looked at the 8 pillars of a well-designed life. We named the fears, driving our defaults, and we started setting boundaries with real intention. And if you're anything like me, something happened along the way. There were days where you had the tools, you knew what to do, and you just couldn't do it. Not because you're weak, not because you lack discipline, because you were exhausted. So this month, we're going underneath the tools. We're going to the fuel. Here's a pattern I want to name because I think you'll recognize it. You learn something new, a practice, a boundary, a way of showing up differently, and it works for a few days, maybe even a week. It feels great. Then your energy drops, life gets heavier, you didn't sleep, work piled up, and before you know it, you're back on autopilot. Reacting instead of pausing, saying yes instead of checking in, defaulting in the exact places you just redesigned. And then you blame yourself. I knew better. I had the tools. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. Your tank was empty, and you can't design from depletion. Here's something that took me way too long to learn. Energy and time are not the same thing. I was the queen of time management. Color-coded calendar, time block days, optimized down to the 15-minute increment. And by 3 p.m. every day, I was running on caffeine and willpower. By Friday, I was a shell of the person I'd been on Monday morning because I was tracking the wrong thing. I had plenty of time. What I didn't have was fuel. And here's what nobody told me. Adrenaline is not energy. I ran on adrenaline for almost 30 years, and I called it drive. I called it work ethic. I called it how I'm built. But adrenaline is borrowed energy. It's your body's emergency system, and I was using it as a daily operating system. That's like running your car on nitrous oxide for every commute. It'll go fast, but eventually the engine explodes. My engine exploded. Broken knee, lost marriage, a body that simply refused to keep going. Think about it this way. You can spend an hour on a conversation that fills you up, that gives you energy, and you can spend an hour in a meeting that leaves you completely hollow. Same calendar, same time. Completely different energy outcome. The calendar doesn't know the difference, but your body does, your mind does, and your spirit does. When I finally did an honest energy audit, not a time audit, an actual energy audit, I was shocked by what I found. My biggest drains weren't the big things. They weren't the hard meetings or the tough decisions. Those actually energized me sometimes. My biggest drains were the things I was tolerating. The constant inner critic running in the background, like a program using 40% of my processing power at all times. The relationships where I performed instead of being real. Every interaction requiring a costume change. The chronic availability, never being off, never being unreachable. Treating my own peace like something everyone else had a right to interrupt. And the adrenaline itself. I didn't know this at the time, but running in fight or flight for 30 years doesn't give you energy. It borrows from your future. And eventually the bill comes due. My bill came due with a broken knee, failed marriage, and a body that simply refused to keep going. That's a pretty expensive lesson. I'd love for yours to be cheaper. So here's what I want you to do this week. Not a time audit. I want you to do an energy audit. For the next few days, just pay attention to 2 things. What fills you? What do you walk away from feeling more alive, more connected, more like yourself? And what drains you? What leaves you feeling hollow or resentful, even if it looks perfectly fine on the surface? Pay special attention to the hidden drains, the ones that don't look like drains. Perfectionism, people-pleasing, the scroll that was supposed to be 5 minutes, the inner monologue that critiques everything. Those are the ones eating your fuel without you noticing. You don't have to fix anything yet. Just see it, map it, because you can't redesign what you haven't named. This month is about making sure you have the fuel to sustain what you're building. Because the most beautiful blueprint in the world doesn't mean anything if you don't have the energy to live it. If you've been here since April, welcome back. If this is your first time, you're right on time. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. And next week, we're talking about courage and self-trust, the inner fuel that makes everything else possible. The alignment letter goes deeper on this twice a month. Come find me. I'll drop the link in the description, and you can also subscribe to the alignment letter by checking out my bio on the page. And remember, you're not behind, you're building. I'll see you next week.